Hey guys, this is Charlie from Charlie's Awesome World of Adventures, and today I'm going to be giving my review on the newest John Wick spin-off of Ballerina. And before I start this review, I'll say now that I'll only be calling this film Ballerina because it's full title From the World of John Wick Ballerina. Yeah, I don't think I can bother saying a title like that, so I'll just be calling this film Ballerina. Anyway, in the next chapter from the world of John Wick, it follows Eve McCarroll, who's beginning her in the assassin tradition of the Roscoe Roma. Eve seeks revenge for her father's death. Evan finds herself crossing paths with John Wick himself. Now, so before watching this film, I did watch the previous John Wick films, so I had a bit of an understanding. The first two films are on par with each other as great action films to the point where I can't decide between which the two is better. The third is easily the weakest because of the franchise, but I still really enjoyed it. And the fourth is definitely the best of the four films, but even if it's not a masterpiece like some people say, and it can be a little too long, it is still a great film. And the trailers did do a good job of getting me excited. I did for Ballerina. And how this was set between the third and fourth film, it piqued my interest. And I really like this film. This is a great movie. I didn't originally think it was a masterpiece, but after a recent rewatch, while I hesitate to call it a masterpiece, I still think it's a fantastic film, and basically the best film in the franchise. So let's start off with the characters. I really like Eve in this. She's a great protagonist. While she's the typical one that seeks revenge on the villain, her arc is quite interesting. And she can prove to be a well-written character. But what makes her so great to watch is the performance by Ana de Armas. I'll say now the acting in this film is fantastic, especially with Keanu Reeves reprising his role as John Wick. But it's Anna who brought Eve to life with a fiery passion and easily offered the film's stand-up performance. There is also the director of Roscoe Roma, who's mainly Eve's strict teacher. Despite being the typical teacher that pretends to care for her students and she really does, it's still a great a character and solid for the film delivers. First, then there's the Chancellor, the main villain of the feature, who's responsible for the death of Eve's father. As the type of the protagonist wants revenge, and John, he does do a great job in that threat. Whether it was his great performance, or how he can twist the evil as he rules his gang. And as for some of the other characters for the film, there's that Angle Pine, an ex-worker for the answer who needs help to protect his daughter. And one of the Chancellor's opposite since where he can be quite intense. And in the back tools, they also try to create a connection between her and Evie Eve, and what are very interesting is thrown in last minute. To the point where I did find it to be unnecessary. Also, one thing I really liked about this film is how it used the characters from the previous John Wick films. It didn't try to force them in and didn't give them the biggest role. But they did give enough to show that this takes place in the world of John Wick. This is especially the case with John on himself. However, I'm glad they didn't decide to give him a huge role. And then you showed him as Eve's inspiration to escape Roma. As well as being English, I didn't hide to kill Eve. Where he does. I talk her down. I'm from the path. Next, there's the story. As revenge thrillers go, I say this is a solid story. Technically, yes, it's quite a predictable story. And I'll say now, the film did take a while to get going. While the film did good, other than the first half, like showing Eve's origins of how she ended up joining Roma, I will admit that it was quite slow paced, and I was waiting for the film to get properly started. But once Eve is sent out on her mission, and that's when the film picks up. I'll talk about the action a little later, but it does a great job of intensifying the film and making it a lot more exciting throughout. On top of that, at the execution of the story helps make the different characters and it makes work extremely well. Where I feel like could have used a bit more development. But the connections that some of the characters have, whether in a positive or negative way, do help influence the film. And did get me invested. Did. And even if you're not fully invested with the story, then the third act more than makes out for it. Seriously, the third act is where at the film it really picks up. As soon as John enters on his mission to hunt down Eve, that's when the film goes from good to great. Where it really improves on some of the film's previous flaws, and gives the feature an exciting finale. As well as ending on a bit of a cliffhanger ending, which made me say this to Lionsgate: don't do John Wick 5, do Ballerina 2. And then there are the visuals. And I've got to say, this is a great film, and that's mainly with the scale of the places. Especially the mountains with the Chancellor's space. And the film depicts these Russian mountains of how they can be a big obstacle for the action scenes, while integrating a little village in there. With the different assassins was hang out there, ready to kill Eve under the Chancellor's command. And on top of that, the costumes in this film look stunning. And no matter what outfit Eve or some of the other characters have to wear, they are very well detailed and very nice to look at, which I do appreciate. But let's get into the main thing you come into a John Wick movie for, and that's the action scenes. And it goes without saying that those moments are without a doubt the highlights of the feature. So they've got a great 8 and 10 ace to them. They make the most of the scene in a photography in the locations to get some stunning shot arts, and they have to use different weapons, especially in the third act where they give it either flamethrower or to take down the villains. That's when it gets more intense and leaves me fully invested. So overall, as far as spin-off of films go, Ballerina is easily one of the best ones. And well, it does take a while to get it go. When does have a little sort of storyline that feels kind of unnecessary, it more than makes up for it with a solid story, great visuals, intense action, and likeable characters, and a fantastic third act. I would highly recommend this to John Wick fans, and they'll be the ones that get the most out of this. As for newcomers to John Wick, I would recommend to at least watch the first three films, so you get a bit of understand and of what you're coming from, and when you watch this movie. Lion seems to try, like they want to try. I am out this John Wick franchise down. I'm even thinking about creating an unnecessary fifth film, in which doesn't seem necessary at all. But if they continue in you making spin-off films like this and a sequel to this one, I'll be more than happy. Which is why I'm giving Ballerina a solid 9.5 out of 10. So if you guys enjoyed this video, feel free to comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye!